Yay! It's my fantasy football show. You should watch it. Yep. Welcome back to the FTFL Weekly Update, the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. Or as I affectionately refer to it as, my never-ending nightmare. Week 3 happened, and I don't care. Still 2 undefeated teams. The Atoms. I don't know if 2023 is the year of the Atom. I know Oppenheimer was a film this year. It involved atoms, not the same kind. Even my jokes are terrible. Everything's being affected by the awfulness of my fantasy squad. Still 2 completely defeated teams. Mine, and also Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering title thieving champ Mana. Got it right that time. Also, completely defeated. Also defeated this week, the Denver Broncos by 50 damn points. The Miami Explosion, points everywhere. One team, though, failed to capitalize on the points from their Miami player, and it would have, in the end, got him a win. Could have stayed undefeated. Not entirely sure Andy was going to play Aknane, Achu, Asni, whatever his name is. 44 points later, good God. Speaking of points, John, I tell you what, don't sleep on John. Or with John. I've heard he's got, you know what? No, that's not appropriate. Back-to-back 100 points weeks for John. Just crushing it. John's 2-1, and I thought, when was the last time John was 2-1? And actually, this is the 3rd time in the last 5 seasons that John has been 2-1. The last 2 times, 2019, he finished 5-8, and then again in 2020, he started 2-1, and he finished 6-7. So it appears the rumors are true. John starts out hot and then doesn't really have the ability to finish. Oh, look. Appears we have some fan mail this week. Whoopee! Can't wait to see what all of my fan have to say about the current state of affairs here on the show. Oh, and lastly, before we get to the games, I'm smiling. This brings me great joy. Sunday, we reached a major milestone in the FTFL. Sunday marked 1,000 days since Ryan Deesum and his saggy, awful, smelly, rarely bathed titties and balls. 1,000 days since they've won a game in the FTFL. The longest losing streak in league history, and it's not even close. That's right. You don't get a win when you're a quitter, Ryan Deesum. You quit. You left us, and you know what? Maybe it was for the better. I hope your fiance, maybe by now, his fantasy team that you're helping run is having a great season. Actually, I don't care at all, because fantasy football is the worst. All right. Well, we had one game this week. 2 undefeated teams going at it. Squaring off, going at it seems a bit vulgar. The Radioactive Monkeys coming in at 2-0, taking on the Mixed Cocktails, who are also 2-0. This one was close. 101 for Adam, 97 for Andy. If you're Adam, Raheem Mostert, 35.5 points. My God. Now, up until last year, really up until last year, Raheem Mostert could not stay healthy. He missed 1 game last year. This dude is fast. If he stays on the field, gotta like Saltmarsh's chances. We'll see if this is a new trend for Raheem. Wet paper sack, Mostert. Jalen Hurts, Tyler Bass, both with 16. Kansas City defense 11. Ty Diggs. Jesus Christ, like we're watching some sort of old movie. Wow. Stephon Diggs, 10 points. Brandon Jacobs, 5.5. Last year, week 4 is when he took off. He hasn't done much this year. Next week is week 4. If that trend holds, look out for Adam Saltmarsh. For Andy, what could have been, although Buffalo's defense isn't going to score 31 every week, so this one maybe wasn't as close as it seemed. Evan McPherson, 19. Jamar Chase, welcome to the 2023 NFL season. 14 points for him. Justin Fields, 8 points. Dude has almost had 30 starts in the league. Jordan Love has 3. You tell me who looks more prepared to be an NFL quarterback. More on that, brother, later. Andy did trade for Joe Burrow. I didn't mention that in an early thing. It was Joe Burrow for Alvin Kamara straight up. Swart gets a running back that may or may not help his team. Andy gets a quarterback that may or may not help his team. Joe Burrow's got a strained calf. Now, if this is a nagging injury, what we saw last night, Burrow had 4 points. They got the win, but if that's the kind of football they're willing to play just to keep getting wins, that is not going to help Andy. As I mentioned, Kane, 44 points on Andy's bench. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Falls to 2-1. Adam rolls to 3-0. Next up, the Southbound Pachyderms coming in at 2-0, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving champ Mana, coming in at 0-2. And Jeff will have to wait another week to get his victory. 75 points was not enough to beat Adams' 99. If you're Adam, Devontae Adams, 28.5. Mike Evans, he doesn't have, do you have Mike Evans? It just says Evan. That doesn't seem right. But I bet it's Mike Evans. 12.5. Jake Elliott, 13. And then, I thought this would be the kiss of death. I still think it'll be your kiss of death. Russell, stupid face, Wilson. I don't even understand. Like, clearly you haven't been watching the show. This guy is a bum. He had 12 points for you in his team's losing effort by 50. That team is in bad shape. Russell Stupid Face Wilson is not going to get any wins. I mean, you won this week despite him. It might be your only one. Alexander Madison finally gets off the schneid, 10.5 for him. If you're Jeff, Zach, I just got picked up off the waiver wire. Moss got 15. A.J. Brown, 12.5. Dak and Etienne has 10. Kyle Pitts, 4.5. In almost now 2+ seasons, 3+ seasons, whatever it is, for Kyle Pitts, he is averaging 4 points a game. So what we have found out, Kyle Pitts, all the hype, he is only a slightly better tight end than Darnell Washington. More on that cat later. Jeff falls 0-3. The Pigs roll to 3-0 and stay undefeated to match Adam Saltmarsh. Next up here before the fan mail break, the Valhalla Vandals at 1-1, coming in against Make America Great Again at 1-1. 102.5 for Sid, 88 for Peter. If you're Sid, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, the dynamic duo, 24.5 and 21.5 respectively. 20 points for Goff, and this thing got out of hand in a hurry. Where Sid is going to struggle, and there'll be more on this maybe in a little bit. Khalil Herbert, 3 points. Javonte Williams, 5 points. Both those are running backs on terrible teams. That ain't going to help. David Montgomery is out. Running back troubles. Running backs are tough to find. And Sid, yep, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson can make up for a lot of those deficiencies. Can they make up for everything? I guess that's yet to be seen. Speaking of deficiencies, if you're Peter, it's Patrick Mahomes and Run CMC and then everybody else. 22 for Patrick, 14.5 for Christian. James Conner still somehow contributing 13 points. Travis Kelce, 13.5. Brandon Ayuk. Three weeks in, Peter. 3 weeks in. We changed the name of the DSM Award in your honor. This last season, we voted you the recipient of your namesake award. And yet, the lessons aren't getting through to you. You started Brandon Ayuk. He didn't play, 0 points. You didn't have enough points to cover, so it wouldn't have mattered, but still. $5, son. $5. It's an Oktoberfest beer by Leinenkugels, in case anyone was wondering. You probably see the label. You guys aren't paying attention to me. You're reading the label. It's delicious. Sid moves to 2-1. Peter falls to 1-2. And now, let me cue up the iPad here. We have some fan mail that came in this week. I'm going to go ahead and read this. It says, Dear Brett, that's me. What's up with the on-air depression? I always thought the Hulkamaniac showed strength and positivity. It's sad that being 0-3 would do that to you. Now I'm going to pause here for a second. The code of the Hulkamaniacs is as follows. Train, take your vitamins, and say your prayers. It's clear that I've given up training long ago. What's the point? Vitamins? Occasionally, I get some vitamin D when I go outside to see other people having joy in their lives. Just a small dose of something that I struggle to find. And 3, the only real prayer I've offered up as of late is to that of the Reaper. And again, if we do have a loving and just Reaper, he'll end this. He'll end this soon. Because I'm done. I don't need to see any more of this. I know how this story plays out. But I digress. Back to the fan mail. It's nothing a Miller High Life can't fix. You know what? Cheers to that, brother. Somewhere here in the bottom, probably going to find a little bit of luck I need to turn the corner. But again, anyways, now that we are 3 weeks into the season, there are some undefeated teams and some winless teams. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up again. Which teams do you think are pretenders and which teams do you think are contenders? Do you think any of the 0-3 teams can make a surprise comeback? I hope things get better for you. Fan for life, Aaron R., New York. Get well soon, Aaron. Here's to you. It's probably not even him. You know what? I'll give you some quick thoughts on the teams in the league. Let's start with the 2 undefeated teams. 3-0, Adam Swart, you need running back help. And Alvin Kamara ain't it. I don't know if you're going to be able to go the distance without that part of your roster being shored up. Adam Saltmarsh, 3-0. If Raheem Mostert stays healthy, you might have something there. Jeff Markser, 0-3. Manah, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering title thieving champ Manah? Yeah. No Chubb means no fun. I think that pretty much sums it up. For me, 0-3. Man, get a little bit of luck, which of course we know will never happen. But in a hypothetical world, if I got a few rolls, thing breaks my way, my team's not bad. But let's be honest. Matt, 1-2. Back-to-back weeks of 70-plus points on your bench. You figure out who to start, and your team is a pretty good team. Sid, you're 2-1. You're in the same boat as Swart. You need running back help. Andy, 2-1. A quarterback league, as heavy as a quarterback league as ours is, a quarterback won't necessarily win you the league, but you will not win the league without one. Right now, sure, Joe Burrow could get healthy. Justin Fields might turn back into a running back. But if neither of those two things comes to full fruition, you're going to struggle to get to the final game as well. Eric, enjoy the title. We haven't had any pictures yet. I'm concerned you've already lost it or actually don't care about it. That would be worse and the bigger crime. Peter, are Mahomes and Run CMC enough? Probably not. And lastly, John. John's got a solid team. And really, John's 2-1 without even a full lineup. Because, yeah, Darnell Washington. As Swart pointed out, there are 61 other tight ends that have a half point. Darnell Washington is not one of them. I mean, at this point, it's kind of a funny running joke. And really, let's be clear, the joke's on me. Because you're the one that's 2-1. And here I sit eating Chews Puff, drinking beer, talking to a camera. And 0-3. All right, let's get to the last few games so I can go lay down on a couch. Architect coming in at 1-1, taking on the Pack Attack at 0-2. And the Pack Attack got a victory before I did. Stunner. 92.5 to 91.5. This one was close. And I mentioned it earlier in the rundown of the teams. Matt, back-to-back weeks now, 70-plus points on your bench. Worst efficiency in the league. You figure some of that out, you might have something. If you're Eric, Josh Allen, 22. Mike Williams, 21.5 points, and those points are gone now because he is done for the season. Amari Cooper, 19.5. New England, 10. A.J. Dillon, 2. Derek the King Henry, 0. And he played. He's never gotten 0 before. Derrick Henry's days as a starting, viable fantasy running back may be coming to an end. And that couldn't come at a worse time for Eric. However, still squeezed out the victory. Some cheese. I think that was cheese crap on my fingers. You know what? No matter. If you're Matt, Tua, leader of the just points explosion, 34 points for him. Debo, 17. Kittle, 9.5. Williams, 5 points. Who the hell is Williams? Average 17.5 in the first 2 weeks. Why the hell do I not know who Williams is? Boy, kind of sums it up. I even went through these notes ahead of time. Just shows you where my Williams, 5 points. Doesn't matter. On the bench, newly acquired Jerome Ford, 15. Marquise Hollywood-Brown, 12.5. Cortland Sutton, 16. Adam Thielen, 19.5. All these players, you could have substituted in for one of your other players, and you would have won. I gave you my vote of confidence. I'm all in on the architect. I think you're the sleeper, the dark horse. This could be your year. And if it's not your year, maybe it'll be John's year. We know it won't be my year, but by God, why can't it be one of the other cellar dwellers? Let us unite and hope and pray for one of us to finally break through. Matt falls to 1 and 2. Eric rises to 1 and 2. Lastly, and certainly leastly, Team Dickweed coming in at 1 and 1, taking on the Hulkamaniacs at 0 and 2. Again, not a terrible week for me. 95 points, but not enough to beat the 111.5 that John put out. Keenan Allen, 33 points. Justin Herbert, 26. By the way, Keenan Allen could have been one of my keepers. Didn't need him, I guess. Between those two guys, 59 points. They outdid what Hurts and Devontae Smith did last week on Thursday Night Football. Butker, 13. Mixon, 10.5. Chris Olave, Olave, 10 points. And again, Darnell Washington, 0. Darnell Washington doesn't have a target yet this year. He hasn't even had a ball thrown to him. He's been on the field for 23 snaps, yet he's in John's lineup 3 straight weeks. I don't get it. For me, KW the third, 23.5. Jordan, the man, Love. Largest fourth quarter comeback in Packers franchise history. Aaron Rodgers, in his illustrious career with the Packers, had one come-from-behind victory against a team with a winning record. Jordan Love, in just his third start, has that number now, too. This kid, as the young folk would say, is him. Cool, calm, collected. Damn! If you're a Vikings fan, you know what? Maybe I finally found something in common with Vikings fans. We can commiserate together. We can be bummed and depressed together. I now know how you feel, Vikings fans. I now know how you feel. Someone here got Cleveland's defense. I'm like, who the hell is Cleve? 12 points. Brandon Aubrey, Isaiah Pacheco both had 11. Amon-Ra, 10.5 points. Darren Waller. Darren. You can see I've given up. 1.5 points. He was a third-round pick of mine. Third round. 1.5 points. Not getting it done. All right, let's stud, dud, and cringy and get up out. Stud of the week, Raheem Mostart, 35.5. Akane, 44 on the bench. I mean, that's nuts. For you, they were averaging 10 points a play. 10 points a play. It's unfathomable. Doesn't even make sense. Dud of the week, Calvin Ridley again. He came out the gates firing and has kind of laid 2 eggs, and, definitely cost Matt last week, cost Matt this week. Matt started out 1-0. He's 1-2. Cringy, Peter leaving Ioka in the lineup. Jesus H. Christ. I don't understand. I just don't get it. Week 4, the Monkeys, 3-0, taking on the Valhalla The Valhalla Vandals at 1-2. The South Barn Pachyderms, Adams Pigs, coming in at 3-0, taking on the Architect at 1-2. Team Dickweed at 2-1, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 2-1. The battle for second place, and if Swart loses, you could be tied for first. Make Cray America Great Again, 2-1, coming in against the Pack Attack at 1-2. And here we have it, folks, the big one, the game that we've all been waiting for. Somebody's O has got to go.
Welcome, FTFL, to the Fantasy Graveyard. Tonight, we welcome an FTFL icon to the graveyard. I think we can all agree that it has been such a letdown for the start of the year. Oh my! Now to the Fantasy Graveyard. Yes, now walk with me through the graveyard. Yes, it could be worse. You could have lost by 1 point to the worst team in the league, like the Architects did this week. Yes, I think we all agree you are quite pathetic for the first part of the season. You need to get it together, man. Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. Please take your Xanax for the sake of us all. Oh, what do we have coming up here? Oh, yes. Oh, maybe you should have stopped at 100. Oh, maybe. Who is it? Who do we have? Yes, it is the FTFL Weekly Update. Oh, get it together, man. Maybe I will give you a reprieve, but good God, man, get it together. You're so depressing, you're gonna steal my job. If anybody should be depressed, it should be the Cray America Industries for letting you win a championship. Oh, let's do better in the future.
The Hulkamaniacs coming in at 0-3, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants. Breaking and entering, title thieving, can't win a game, champ Mana. Coming in at 0-3. After next week, we are 1 month into the season. At this point, 14 games, 11 to go. Anything can happen. Except, of course, me doing anything of note, besides maybe this show. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed it. For me, I don't enjoy much of it. But that's okay. Until next week, peace.